You know, it's interesting enough. Most of us believe that God is a God of love and that God will heal and that God will provide. But most oftentimes, many of us struggle that He loves us, that He'll provide for us, that He'll heal us. Oh, you know He's a healer, but will He heal me? Oh, I know He's a deliverer, but will He deliver me? And so it's not personal. It's not personal. That side of your faith is broken down and in rubbles. Because life, just like life taught Abraham who God was, life has taught you who God is too, and taught you the same lie it taught Abraham. Oh, life taught you that God is a hard God. Life has taught you God is a wrathful God, that you can pray and pray and pray, and God maybe answer and maybe not. He'll hold back a promise on a technicality. Life has taught you that no matter how hard you try, you can't be good enough. No matter how much faith you have, it's still iffy. It can go either way. And life has taught us that, even from the days of our early youth, when we prayed and asked God to help us pass the test and we failed, or to help us in some area of our life and He did not seem to do so. Life has taught us some things about God that He's cycling us back to, so that we can get a revelation and answer the question He's asking you. Who do you say I am? Not with your head, not what you've parroted, what you've heard in church, but from your heart. Who do you say I am? Who do you really believe me to be? Who do you really believe me to be? Not what you've been taught to say, not what you've been taught to parrot, but who do you really think I am? And you can tell who you are. You can tell what you really believe because it's being enacted in your life. You'll have the same struggles. You have the same cycles. You have the same problems over and over and over again. And you don't realize it. Every time you come to that place, God is asking you the question. You haven't answered it yet. You haven't made up your mind that He is faithful. Abraham, even as he lifted up his knife against that which he loved most, he said, "You're faithful. I believe what you said. You're faithful. I believe what you said." And so what happens is Abraham pressed in, okay? Sometimes you have to press in. That's right. Do you recall the story of Elisha and the Shunammite woman whom blessed Elisha, and then God spoke a miracle over her because she didn't have any children, and she was birthed children because of the blessing of Elisha? Well, one day she came to visit Elisha. The child had died. And so she said, and so Elisha gave his staff to a servant Gehazi and said, "Go take my staff and lay it on the kid's face. The child shall live." And so Gehazi hastened over to the lady's house and laid the staff on the child's face, and nothing happened. So he came back to Elisha. Elijah was on his way there, and he said nothing happened. So guess what Elisha did? Elisha continued on to her house, and he stretched over himself, over the child, eye to eye, mouth to mouth, hand to hand, and he prayed. And the Bible says he got up, and there was warmth in the body, but the kid still wasn't living. So he did it again. And he did it again until the kid sneezed 7 times. You see, what happened was he could have said, "You know something? You told me to give my staff to Gehazi and put it over the child's face, and the child shall live. Maybe it's God's will that the child not live." And that's the question right there. Let me say, that is the issue right there. There's a time to trust in God's sovereignty, but there's a time to believe for the move of His Spirit. There's a time to put your faith in God's faithfulness. There's a time to put all guns on deck and to commit to your faith in God with all your